I told myself I would just look at you for about 10 seconds when I got up here. Okay, so this is meeting you for the first time last year on the internet was one of the most awesome, mind-blowing, and supportive things in my life, because I've always been somebody that looks around to other people and sees potential and sees all this this life. And I used to write when I was a kid in high school about how everyone's like their own God, and everyone has this amazing, sense of themselves in them. And just in that little speech right there, I watched and I felt everybody transform into absolute angelic gods, right? And I see you talk to people, and I hear online, and I get so frustrated when people don't walk away with absolute transformation in front of you, because what you're saying is so. To me,
it just takes a little while to get the hang of it, doesn't it?
Yeah. And I'm starting to get that, like, the power that I actually have over my emotions. And the direction.
Power, really good words. The power that you have over your emotions because
they send me in the right direction. If I follow them, if they're good and I follow them, then I'm going in the right direction. And I'm headed in the right direction.
Good, really good response.
Yeah.
Because and another way of saying it is, I have power over my emotions because I have choice about thought. Yeah. And then what you said,
right.
Because I'm aware of how I feel, so I catch it at the early stages when it's easy to change the thought. If there's a lot of momentum in a thought and you say, I'm going to think different, you're not, because momentum isn't going to allow it. Law of attraction says, this is what you've been thinking about, here's more thoughts like that.
And that 17 seconds is so powerful, and a lot of ways I don't have the patience to sit there and do that. So my thing is I don't...
Wait. You don't have the patience, but sometimes a desire to feel good, Esther says that. People say to her, thank you for your patience, and she says, you must understand me completely. But you don't need patience. Patience is an indication of misalignment.
Yeah.
Patience is uneasiness. Patience is wobble in the vibration. Because when you're trying to assert patience, what you're actually trying to do is you're trying to control through action, through willpower. I will not be upset about this. And you're asking yourself to buck a current that's very, very strong. So we want you to accept that impatience as an indicator that you're wanting to go more general. Because if you'll go more general, the discomfort will. Last night, Esther put her door knocker out with what she wanted for breakfast. And the first thing she did is, when she got up this morning, was look to see that it was gone. Because if it's gone, that's a good sign. That means somebody's on it. But then it didn't come when it was supposed to, and the window passed, and so once it was well past the delivery time, Esther called downstairs, and the hotel is very busy, mostly because of all of you, and so it took a long time to get someone, and they sent someone, and anyway, the breakfast never came. But as she was walking out the door, the man was standing there with her breakfast. So as it was unfolding, she went through bouts of impatience, mild to mediate to strong impatience, and then she just made a decision. It's no big thing. It's no big thing. It's no big thing. It's no big thing. Just talked herself off the ledge. It's no big thing. It just doesn't matter. It's just no big thing. It's just no big thing. And then the man who came to the door looked very afraid because there'd been a lot of phone calls back and forth. And so he came to the door with breakfast and Esther took it and gave him a really big tip. There was no charge for the breakfast because of the inconvenience of not getting it. And so Esther gave him a really big tip and just laughed and said, it must be one of those mornings down there. And they actually had a very nice conversation, and we want all of you to know, don't worry about Esther, she's not hungry. She's pretty sure she could live quite a long time and not eat. at all. Esther was more fueled by her misalignment and coming back into alignment than she would have been by things going perfectly well. This is the thing about things like this. They don't matter. In other words, nothing matters because there's always another path, isn't there? And there's always another path of lesser and lesser and less resistance. And when you know that, then you're just in that flexible place where the new thing that occurs evokes something different from you than you have been before and leaves you in a more practiced place of knowing that all is well.
Yeah.
And the more that you know all is well no matter what, then the more you are able to go anywhere and everywhere with anyone and everyone, because there's no more guardedness or protectiveness or needing things to be just right before you can feel good, because you get it that it's always all right, that things are always working out for you, no matter how they appear to be in any moment in time. They're always working out one way or another. One way or another. Yeah.
One of my main barriers is a lack of focus, is that focus. I have this incredible talent. I'm a musician. I've turned down all kinds of different opportunities for me as a musician to go do things and make music other places, but I'd rather make my own music, right? I want to be an artist. I've always desired to be an artist and to share my music with everybody. But I'm responsible for that on my own, and I can't seem to get myself to work for it, to really work for that. And
well, here's the thing. Do you feel the wobble? Do you feel the wobble in that? In other words, because there's a lot of momentum in your desire, because you are a wonderful musician and you are creative. You know that. You have a very strong momentum about that. But you also know too much about the other. You know so much about what you don't want, which was important, because knowing what you don't want is what helped you know what you do want. But you've got both of those vibrations going on at the same time. So that's why we are encouraging that you step back into a more general place. So rather than hitting it head on, in other words, knowing what we know, we could say to you that you're going to get exactly what you want. It's going to turn out exactly the way that you want it. But it's going to take a little while, because it's going to take a while for you to release your guardedness and your protectiveness. It's going to take a little while for you to shift your patterns of belief, because you know too much about the music industry. You know too much about the way others have lived. You have too many memories about how it's been for yourself. And so you've got active stuff in your vibration that doesn't have anything to do with right now. It was about a former time. It doesn't have anything to do with right now. But you keep dragging it into now with your memory. Now, what's a memory? An active thought. You don't have a storage cabinet here with experiences all piled up in there. That's not what's going on. It's empty in there, really, for the most part. You are a transmitting and receiving mechanism, and so the memory that you bring from your past to your now just messes up your now. You don't have to do that anymore, but you can't go cold turkey. You just can't all of a sudden stop thinking about those thoughts that you've lived, because living them, hear this, living them seemed to validate them. Living them seemed to prove them, seemed to make it true enough that you should keep telling the story. That's not the way we want you to look at this in this vibrational world. That's like saying, okay, I lived stuff I didn't want to live. I didn't like it when I lived it. I didn't like it one bit. I hated living that. But it was real. And it was true. And therefore, I'm going to keep all of that active in my now so that I can keep living it. What? But it was true. It was true, and therefore, and my life validated it. Therefore, it represents who I am. That's who I have been. That's therefore who I have to be. Ooh, this is really good stuff. Because I have been it, then I still am it. Is that the way? Your logical mind doesn't want to say that, but your vibrational world insists on it. Because I was it, and I'm so aware that I was it. Don't look any of this up in the grammar dictionary. Because I lived it, because I was it, then then I think I should keep thinking about it. I'll just keep talking about what I want because of what I don't want. I want to do my own music, he said. I want to do my own music. I want to do my own music because I don't want to work. I don't want to collaborate. I don't want to be part of the system. I don't want to be bossed around. So you think you're saying, I want to do my own music, but vibrationally you're saying, I want to do my own music because I don't want to do that and that and that and that and that. And it's all active in your vibration, so you got a great big old wobble going on. So how do you stop the wobble? Now, you've heard this story from us before. We tell it a lot. It's about momentum. Standing at the top of the hill, you've got your car, it's out of gear, way down there the road goes. So you just take the car out of gear, you take the parking brake off, and you just nudge it from behind a little bit because you want to see what would happen, and then you remember that you know what's going to happen because you know about momentum, you know about inertia, you know about gravity, you know about the laws of the universe. So before the momentum gets very strong, you change your mind, you step out in front of it, the car bumps up against you, but you've stopped the momentum and all is well. You wouldn't want to be at the bottom of that hill stopping that momentum. Well, this is what you've been trying to do. You've been at the bottom of the hill trying to stop the momentum. And it isn't that you're not a good thinker. It isn't that you're not a good deliberate creator. It isn't that you're not a wonderful musician. It's that you're trying to defy the laws of the universe. You can't stop momentum like that. You got to stop it before it gets started. And how do you do that? First thing in the morning before it gets started. First thing in the morning before it gets started. Right after meditation before it gets started. You got to catch it when it's little. Catch it when it's little. And start a different momentum. And before you know it, the momentum of your positive expectation will be huge. And the momentum of your negative expectation will have petered out altogether for the most part. Oh, other things will show up to remind you how wretched you are. In other words, you got layers of wretchedness that you feel about yourself. But one awareness at a time, you'll just release it and release it and release it until pretty soon you'll be standing in a place where you're not just giving lip service. You see, you're not giving lip service. You know what that means? You know what Esther thinks that means? Lip service, meaning saying the words that you don't really feel. You're not doing that when you tell us what a good musician you are. You believe that. You believe that you're really good at that. It's just that you don't believe that there's a way for you to present that in the world. So the cross current that you got going on is, oh, I'm good at this, but I have to play in a game I don't want to play in order to be good at this, and I'm not willing to do that. I'm not willing. I really want it, but not that much. I really want it, but not enough to give up freedom, not enough to give up, you see. And what we want you to understand, you don't have to give up anything because the universe is working for you. Mm-hmm. The universe is working for you. You're just giving mixed signals, so the universe gives you some of what you want and then some of what you don't want, some of what you want, and some of what you don't want. Very compliant universe, giving you exactly what you've got going on vibrationally. And if you don't like what you're getting, you got to stop emitting it, which means you got to clean up your thoughts. It's just that simple. You got to clean up your thoughts, which means something even simpler. You got to care about how you feel. You got to care about how you feel that you're not thinking thoughts logically. You're not thinking thoughts because other people want you to think the thoughts. You're thinking the thoughts based solely. This is the best thing that you're ever going to hear in your whole life. This is the secret to living happily ever after. This is the secret to getting everything that you want from this life experience. This is the secret to continuing the trajectory that you started when you made the decision to come into this physical body. You just got to decide that you want to feel good, and you want to feel good so much that you're willing to give up the opinions that don't allow you to feel good about everything. About everything.